Now for this video, I will be talking about addition and subtraction of fractions with different denominators. These fractions are unrelated, so we will be having two two equations first, wherein I will show it using the fraction bars right here, and then two more equations later on without the fraction bars. So let's start with 1/2 plus 2/3. So for 1/2 plus 2/3, this is not related because I cannot turn halves into thirds, nor I can turn thirds into halves. Therefore, I have to find um, a denominator that I can turn both halves and thirds into. So let's see what 1/2 looks like. Okay, so this is my 1/2 and 2/3. This is the 2/3. Alright, now I would have to think of a number that I can divide both halves, or that I can turn both halves and thirds into. Remember that I cannot add fractions with different denominators. That's why I have to turn them first into the same denominator by using equivalent fractions. So in this case, I would have to know what the least common or the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3 is. So I can do that by writing here multiples of 2 and then multiples of 3. Then I will just skip count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here 3, 6, 9, 12. I just have to make sure that I can find a number that's the same. Okay, so in this case, I have 6 here that appeared first. So I would have to change both halves and thirds into sixths. Let's see how many sixths are there in 1/2, as well as in 1/3. So as you can see here, our 1/2 is now equal to 3/6, and our 2/3 is now equal to 4/6. So since I have the same denominator already, I can just go and add it. So that would now be 3/6 plus 4/6, which will give me 7/6. Alright, now 7/6. This is a fraction more than one whole. So we can already change this into mixed numbers by thinking if we can form a whole in 7/6. So there's 6/6 there and 1/6. Therefore, that would now be 1 and 1/6. So that's our final answer, 1 and 1/6. Next, let's try another example. 3/4 minus 1/3. Okay, so again, just like addition, we cannot subtract fractions of different denominators. I have to turn them first into the same denominator. But since I cannot change fourths to thirds and thirds to fourths, I would have to find a number that I can turn them into. Okay, so let me just show first what 3/4 look like. So this is 3/4 and 1/3. Alright, now I would have to find the least common multiple of 4 and 3. So I can change 4 and 3 into the same denominator. So that would now be multiples of 4, and then multiples of 3. Now remember, our goal is to find a number that would appear first, which would be the same for 4 and 3. So let's try skip counting already. That's 4, 8, 12, 16. 4, 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. There you go. There's already 12 right there. By the way, I'm just listing this just in case you are still not familiar with your, or you still, so we can already turn our fractions into 12s. How many 12s does 3/4 have? Let's find out. Okay, so as you can see, the 3/4, okay, the 3/4 have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 12ths. Alright. And for 1/3 this time, okay, 1/3 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 12ths. So that would now be 1/3 is equal to 4 12ths. Now that we have the same denominator already, we can already have it written here. That's 9 12ths minus 4 12ths. So 9 minus 4 is 5 12ths. Alright, so this is how we subtract fractions with different denominators. Let us now try to have two more examples, but this time I won't be showing it anymore using the fraction bars. So one for addition and one for subtraction. Let's try this one out. 5/8 plus 2/5. I would be using two different pens so that you would see later which one I am changing or which equivalent fraction I am finding. So I would have to change 8 and 5 or 8s and 5ths into the same name or same denominator. Again, find a common multiple of 8 and 5. If you already know your multiplication table, then you can just go ahead and skip count by 8 and then skip count by 5 and find a common multiple. So the common multiple of 8 and 5 is 40. So I can change 5/8 into 40ths as well as 2/5 into 40ths. Now, to change it, once again, remember your equivalent fractions. What number did I multiply to 8 to get 40? That's 5. So I would apply the same to the numerator. Times 5, that's 25. Okay, so 25. Now let's have 2/5. For 2/5, what number did I multiply to 5 to make it 40? That would be 8. Same thing with the numerator. Again, multiply it with 8. So that would now be 16. Alright. Now that I have the same denominator, I can just add it. So that would now be 25 40ths plus 16 40ths, which will now be equal to 25 plus 16 would be 41 over 40, or 41 40ths. So this is again an improper fraction. You can leave it as it is, but you can also opt to change it to mixed numbers. And if you want to change it to mixed numbers, this is equal to 40 over 40 plus 1 over 40, and that would now be 1 and 1 40ths. That's our answer for our first equation. Okay? Now let's try another one. So I would have to erase this. This time, let's try subtraction. I want to subtract 4/5 and 3/4. Alright, so again, change it into the same denominator. You may skip count if you want to and find the highest common multiple of 5 and 4. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So 20 is the first one to come up. So I can change 4/5 into 20ths as well as 3/4 into 20ths. So let's start first with 4/5. You can do also 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So that's 4. Then I multiply this by 4, so that would be 16. Same thing here. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So I can put here divided by 5 and then multiply this by 5. And this one will be 15. Now, sorry, this should be blue. Now I can already add or subtract, the numbers or the fractions. Now I can already subtract the fractions. So 16/20ths minus 15/20ths would now be equal to 1/20ths. Alright, so that's it.